All right, so for my explosive lift, I chose to teach the power clean, probably because it's one of the most technical of the Olympic lifts, also because it's been proven to have the most transfer to sports, and it helps to work on speed and power output and overall strength of the athlete. So in order to teach the power clean, I've decided to break it down in to 4 different components. We're going to have like the setup and the pick off the ground, the low pull, high pull. We're just going to work on like the little catch phase, and then I'm going to have her put it all together at the end. So I'm just going to demonstrate a full power clean, just so Macy knows what it looks like, and then we'll start breaking it down, and I'll start helping her like figure out. So you start off in the nice setup position, flat back, and then bring it up and catch underneath it. Do one more. There we go. All right. Okay, Macy, so you're going to come over, and we're just going to work on where you would grab the bar and like the setup position. So what you can do is you can come and stand right in front of it. Ooh. Yep. So then what we're going to have you do is just like squat down and grab the bar, and then we'll adjust it. So your arms should be on the outside of your legs. There you go. Okay. Yep, you can probably scoot this one out just a tad bit more. Okay. Yep. So then good setup position is, yes, you want to start with the bar back as close to your shins as possible. Okay. And then it should be over like mid-foot. You want to have a nice flat back the whole time. Your shoulders should be slightly in advance of your hands, which is good. So they just are slightly over the bar. And then also, you know, if they're squatting correctly, is that their hip height should be a little bit higher than their knee height. So Macy's really good setup. So hips are higher than knees. She has a nice flat back. So all we're going to work on, this is the first part. So you have this. All you're going to do is do like a deadlift, or you're just going to pick it off and bring it up over your knees and then set it back down. Okay. So you just pick it up, bring it over the top of your knees, and then set it back down on the ground.
Just over the knees?
Yep, and then you can set it back down.
Okay.
So you can do a couple.
Oops.
All right. What you want to make sure is when you're bringing it up and you're deadlifting, you want to try keeping the bar, like this bar, as close to your shins as possible. So when you're bringing it up, you pretty much want to skim like right along your shins, up your knee, and then back down.
Okay,
that way
so
we know. Yep.
Okay.
That way you know you're keeping the bar close to you. There you go. Much better. Much closer. Another thing to always look for is when they're starting it, you want to make sure that their shoulders and their hips are moving at the same time. So you don't want their hips to go up and then their shoulders to follow. So do it again, and I'll watch for sure of that. Very good. Yep. So that's a big problem that happens with most athletes is their butts move before their shoulders do. So you want to make sure it comes up all as one central unit, which you did good. So the next portion I will show you. Okay. So the next portion that we're going to learn is the low pull. And because I already taught you the hip hinge action in the upper body, so we're going to do the same thing. You're going to like that soft knee, and you're going to push your hips back. And then we're just going to do a low pull. So the low pull just works on the hip extension and like the driving of the hips and creating force into the ground. So with the low pull, you're working on getting triple extension, and that's triple extension, so extension through your ankle, knee, and hip. So you're going to pick up the bar, same setup. You're going to hip hinge it back to right above knee, so you're just going to come to right above knee, and then you're just going to pop through, and you're going to shrug your shoulders at the top. So what you do is you come up on your toes, you drive your hips forward, and then at the top, you're just going to shrug your shoulders, and the bar is just going to like float in air. So you shouldn't be using your arms at all. It should all just be coming from the legs. So you're just going to pop it up, shrug, and then drive your hips forward. So I'll show you it one more time. So you're going to hip hinge back, and then you're just going to drive your hips forward and shrug up.
Okay. So it's
Here. So you've done, yep, and then you're just going to drive forward and
everything
up.
just goes up. And your arms, like, they should just...
Yep. Okay. You shouldn't really have to, like, do anything with your arms. They're just pretty much holding onto the bar at this phase. So you're just, you're just going to drive through your hips, and your shoulders are going to come up. Okay. And the bar, you want to try keeping it as close to you as possible when you do it, but it's going to float a little bit around your hips.
Okay.
So go down and grab the bar where you were when you did set up.
Okay.
Yep, and then you can just stand all the way up with it to start off. So then you're going to hip hinge back just to the top of the knee. Yep, and then try driving, like standing up quick. There you go. Yep, now try, you're doing good. No, you're doing good. So try to be fast and create as much force as possible. You can even jump a little bit if you feel like that, but you want to like go up on your toes and just drive those hips forward as fast as you can.
Okay.
There you go. Don't forget to do that shrug at the top. There you go, much better. Do 3 more.
Okay.
Very good, very good. There you go. Make sure you bring those hips all the way through. There you go, much better. Now you can set it back down. Yep, so in theory, if the athlete had a lot of time, you would like perfect that phase and you would do it probably a couple more sets just to get it straight. But we're going to move on. So now I'm going to teach how to do a high pull of the exercise. So the high pull kind of puts like the first 2 together. So it starts from the ground. We're going to do a high pull from the ground. So it's going to do the pick off, and then it's going to have the low pull, and then we're just going to continuate it up into our arms. So this is pretty much adding all the exercise together. It's like a building block. So we're going to start pick up right here. So you're going to come. What you're going to do is you're going to come. You're going to drive up. You're going to have your hips come through. You're going to get that extension. And then instead of it's the bar stopping here, it's going to come like all the way up. You're going to use power, and your arms should come up. So you're going to lead with your elbows. You're going to lead with your elbows up. And it's going to come like up to here, and then it's just going to come back down. So this is where you're going to use like all the force you have to really like drive, come up, bring the bar up, and then let it come back down.
Okay.
So I'll show you a couple. So you start with that nice bar position, flat back. You're going to come up. You want to make sure that you want to try your hardest to like bring your hips all the way through, bring that power, and really extend, and then come back down. So you should have extension through the whole body, from like ankle to the back. So just go. All right, so you can go ahead and set up. So set up just how we learned how to pick off. Yep, and bring it close back towards your shins. So what you're going to do, is you're just going to drive through your legs and try to bring it all the way up by like your shoulders, your armpits.
Okay.
Yep, there you go. We'll just let you do like 2 to get used to that feeling, and I'll have you fix something.
Can you do like a little jump again, or like just sort
Yeah,
of?
yeah, you can do it. You can do a jump, or you can stay on your feet. It's kind of like personal preference. You don't want what we don't want you to do is like bring your feet up a lot, but you can do like a little like off. You can like toe off the ground if you want.
Okay.
What you really want to make sure is like when you're bringing the whole thing, it's really important that you don't let the bar like float away from your body. You really, you want when you're pulling it up, you want to pull it up the front of the leg if you can, and you want it to travel like straight up and straight down. You don't want it to come away at all.
Okay.
Because when you come away, when you start to use heavier weights, it makes it harder to control.
Okay.
And it makes it more difficult, so. Yep. Yep. Yep, there you go. Remember to bring those hips all the way through and just kind of like drive up.
Okay.
There you go, much better. Yep. Do like 2 or 3 more. Good job. Yep, and in theory, the athlete, they're generating most of the force, but she's doing a good job, but they're generating most of the force through their legs. Do 1 more. There you go. And then you can set it down. They're generating most of the force like through your legs. So it's not like an arm exercise. It's not like an upward row exercise, which is a common problem that most athletes have. So most athletes want to go like here, and then they just want to like row it up. But what you really want to do is like, it's just an accentuation of the low pull. So you're creating all that force through your legs, and then the bar is also just like continuing up, and it's floating up, and you're just using your arms to guide it, which you did good. So the next part that we're going to work on after the high pull is we're just going to like work on the catch sequence, because most people have never put their body in this way when you catch a power clean. So our power clean catch sequence is so you're coming up from the high pull from here, and then you snap your elbows under, and you're going to catch it with your elbows high, and you're going to catch it right across your anterior deltoid. So you bring it up, just like the arms from the high pull, and then you just snap them under, and you bring your elbows through, and then it sets like right across the front of your body. So I'll have you practice with this really light one first so that you can just work on the motion.
So it's just same width.
Yep, same width as you always have. It will be the same. So then bring your elbows up, and then snap them under.
Set.
Yes. Yep, so then it sits like right across this part of like your body, and it might hit right across your chest too. So do that a couple times. So bring it up, yep, and then snap your elbows under. Good job.
I feel like I'm not flexible.
I was gonna say, if you want, you have a lot of people who are like really inflexible through like the traps and through their wrists. So like this will be a motion that they're gonna have to work on, which it gets easier if you have more weight because the weight like forces your hands back.
Okay.
But you really want to try like your hardest to bring your elbows up as high as you can. Yep. Yep. And then snap it under.
Okay.
Yep. So now that you do with that, we'll do it with this barbell that has no weight attached to it. So your grip is going to be the same. So it's like 2 fingers on the outside of the knurling, just because it's a little different. But yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Then you're just going to bring it up and then snap it under, just like you were doing with the PVC pipe.
Up. Okay.
Yep. There you go. Yep.
Okay.
So doing it quicker is better. So what you did was great. So just bring it up as fast as you can and snap it under.
And then push the elbows, like.
Yeah. Yep. You want to drive those elbows up as high as you can.
Okay.
Because once the weight gets heavy and once you become better at it, it helps you to catch the weight, to control it, and it will help you to finish the power clean better. So do like 2 more.
Okay.
Yep, driving the elbows through. Very good. There you go. Yep, and then you can set it down. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so now that we worked on the catch and we worked on everything up into that, again, I'm going to show you how you do a full power clean. And we're going to try to put it all together and do a full thing straight from the floor. So don't be nervous because the first time everybody does it, it doesn't always look pretty. And it takes a long time to perfect a power clean. So you have it starting back against your shins. So you're going to do that pick off, pull, high elbows all the way through, and then you're going to snap it underneath. So. Yep. So it's like all the power is generated through your legs. And then you're just catching the bar up on your arms.
Okay.
Yep, so it's all legs. And the best part about catching is like, since you have it up high, a good cue that we use is like, you don't want to just bring your elbows through, you also want to dip down a little bit. So you're like squatting underneath the bar.
Okay.
So that helps to catch it. So once it comes up here and you bring your elbows through, you kind of like squat underneath it and catch it bent leg and then stand back up.
Okay. So if I were to be like that and bring it across.
Up and then kind of squat,
Sit.
yep.
Okay.
So you're going to squat or like sit underneath the bar and catch it on your shoulders.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think for the first time, let's try it with this bar, and you're just going to have to approximate where it sits on your shin. And then we'll do the whole thing, and then we can have you try it with the weight. Yep, so good setup. So just come down, middle shin, and pretend it has plates on it. Yep.
Okay.
And now try to do the full exercise with the catch. There you go. I know it's a little awkward at first, so. And there you go. Try to drive those elbows up. There you go. Do 2 more with this bar, and then we'll go to the other one. Nice job. 1 more. She's doing good because when she catches it, which is, you can set the bar down. You don't have to hold on to it. But she's doing a very good job. You always want to make sure when you catch it, you're sitting back on your heels and you're not up on your toes, which you're doing good. So once you squat behind it, you want to make sure that all your weight is predominantly back on your heels, which you're doing a good job of. So now, yep. So now we'll have you set up on this one, and we'll try we'll try 1 full power clean, and then I'll like offer some advice. So starting close to the shin, there you go. Very good. Very good. You set it down. Yep, just one thing that I saw is when you bring it out, the minute it comes across your knees, which is pretty normal, that everybody just likes to bring it out and then they kind of like swoop it out from their body and bring it through. You really want to make sure that it stays close, and because it shouldn't be like a circle motion with your arms. It should be close, and then you should just be able to get right underneath it. Okay. So just make sure you're keeping it, yep, as close to your body as you can.
Okay.
Good. There you go. Much better, much better. I'm just going to watch it again from this angle. There you go. Do 1 more. And keep it up at the catch position.
Okay.
Yep, and she does a really good job of, like, see how your elbows, this is good. You like to have the triceps, like, parallel to the ground. And it's good because her hands are on the outside of her shoulders. So you don't want to catch it on top of the shoulders. You want to catch it to the outside. So that's really good. And she's doing a great job. Most of the time you don't have to keep a full grip on it. When you catch it, it kind of sits on your 4 fingers up on your shoulder. Okay, you can put it down and do like 2 more, and then we'll finish up. Start close to the shin, yep. There you go. Make sure you're bringing those hips all the way through before you squat down and catch it. Better.
So a little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep, so you can just set it down. But yeah, so that's it's the essence of the power clean. Yep, so you just want to like, a lot of things that people need to work on, bringing hips all the way through, getting extension, and then making sure that they're not bringing it away from them, which you corrected better. Could use a little work, and then you just squat underneath it. And once the weight gets heavier, you're going to have to learn how to like squat deeper. So like when I show it and I'm like catching it here, when I do like a full power clean and I'm doing like my max, I end up pulling it because it gets heavy, so you can only pull it to here, and then I end up squatting it and catching it under here, and then it's like a front squat. So you'll get, when you get to really heavy weights, and once you have like learned the technique, you start to practice on catching it lower and then squatting the whole thing up. So you'll pull it, you won't be able to pull it as high, so that's when you really need to learn how to like squat and get underneath the weight.
Okay.
But that comes a little bit later after being learned. But yeah, so that's how I would teach that's how I would put together the variations and teach the power clean exercise. So.